Hi guys, I'm going to show you how to make your first Game Boy program using the GBDK on Windows. Now I have these 4 sets of files here, and you're going to have to install this one specifically, but as you can see it's in a zip file, and it's just this by itself. So what I want you to do with that is just extract it directly to your C drive. Please give it full immersion so you don't have to worry about anything else after that. And then you'll see it has these files in it. And then after you do that, I'm going to want you to go to examples in the GB, and you'll see a whole bunch of other stuff here, and that is like short tutorials and whatnot. Some of the stuff you won't see, like these, because I've added onto those. But for the compiler to work the easiest, I would make a folder here to create your files in. But as you see, I've already made one for this tutorial. And then after you install that, you can put these anywhere. These are sprite tools that help you create any sprite or background. I'm going to go ahead and extract those right here. All that installs, I'm going to show you all this. Okay, oh look, those are done. This BGB, what this is just an emulator where you can test whatever ROMs you make on. Like, they give you a small test here to use it with. And look, you can check which buttons you're using. And what this certain emulator is good for is, okay, first I'm going to show you how to run stuff in real time. Where it says pause, losing focus, turn that off. It's best to leave it small when you're checking stuff so you can do this. Like, you can see what's happening, which tiles are being used, and what, like especially this area right here where it says tile number. Those become important to you later on. And then you can see which sprites are being used currently. As you can see from the little display, you can see these little squares that will pop up. And then palettes, you don't have to worry about much of these until you get into Game Boy Color. But first we're going to make our own little program today. So to do that, first we're going to make a small sprite. In my case, it's just going to be a small animated sprite. So we're just going to create a very ugly smiley face because I had horrible artist work. And if you press Control C and then Control V on the next, you can copy whatever you made. I'm just going to do, as you see, that'd just be creepy looking. You can take this paint bucket and do a lighter color, and then ta-da! You can save this as a GBR file, but all this does is let you save it for use again, because once you turn it to a C file, you can't use it on this again. And as you see, that just froze. Okay. And we're going to put it in whatever folder you want to work with, because that's one of the most important things you can do. I'm just going to call it face. And if you look here, you can see face GBR. But to actually use it, you will need to export it. Okay. Right here where it says type, you'll have to go down to where it says GBDK C file. And when you hit browse, you got to make sure you put it in whatever folder you need. In this case, it's already the right folder. So I'll name it face, and then tile label. It makes it easier to use later, just as lowercase face in this case. And then you'll see over here we use slot 0 and 1. So we put 0 from 0 to 1. And these other things you don't have to touch. So just export that. You will see this face C and face H file come up, and you can close or whatever you want to do with that. But the next thing you got to do is you don't have to use this. Like you could just make a C file if you know how to do that. But I would get code blocks or some other code editor, and then just make a file. It'll tell you what to do. It's like I press C source, and make it always in C. And then you have to provide a path for it, in which case it'll be our tutorial. This is the wrong place. Okay. See, it's in GBDKC. There we go. We're just going to call it main. I recommend naming this to all of your projects, just to make it easier with this compiler I've built for y'all. Okay. Now, first thing you have to do in every one of these programs is include a certain file, and that will be it's hashtag or pound or whatever y'all like to call it. When you put these pointers, gb/gb.h, and that is the most important file. And you'll see what that file is, especially if you use this particular code editor. It doesn't automatically include stuff for you. So you see this gb, that in gb.h. Okay. Well, this is just a bunch of definitions, but we will be using a particular few. But you'll see of these two other things we made, face C and face H, we'll have to include this face C. So, press in include, and then whenever it's in the same directory, you can just put it in quotation. So we will put face.c. And then for the start of any program, it will have to run on a main, which it looks like this. Void main. And what that does, it's just like, if you can also put in a while. And what this does, this will only load once, but this will load every what do you call it, vertical blank interrupt, which is like, see, it's 60 per second, unless you have something else slowing down the code. But for right now, we're just going to use this void main. So what I want you to do is put in set BKG data, or no, set sprite data, excuse me. And then you'll see where it says uint first tile, number tiles, inside char. So we're just going to put 0, 1, face. And then always put a semicolon at the end of one of those. And you'll see from when we did that, 0 to 1 means 0 to 1. And then we have to put set sprite tile, which is this one right here. And we would just set up sprite tile 0, which means the Game Boy has a max of 40-ish sprites that can be displayed at one time, and this is one of those 40. And then the number tile that we want to use starts with 0 from the first one of the face figures. Then we put a semicolon on there. And then to move the sprite, if you start the ROM right now, it will make the sprite, but it'll be in the very top left corner of the screen where you can't see it. So we're going to put him close to the middle. So move sprite. And then you want to put it sprite number 0, which is being made right here. And you want to put it at 75 in the x coordinate and 75 in the y coordinate. Okay, so we'll compile that and see how that does. Actually, we'll take a look at the compiler first. Okay, what this is doing is it's turning this main that we just made right here into an object file. That's what this one does. What it's saying is it's turning main C into the bin LCC, which is the actual compiler, and turning it to main O. And then this line turns that O file, main O, into main GB. So we'll see how that does. Sometimes it can take a second, sometimes quicker. No errors. Oh, you'll see this main, but you won't see anything come up. But if you look at the VRAM viewer, you'll see our face. Accidentally messed up right there, but you see that's where the face would be. And the face is technically there, but we just can't see it. Because, I'm going to fix this right here real quick. Okay. We have one more thing we have to do, and that is show sprites, which makes it easy to hide or disable at any time. So we'll recompile that one more time. If you check it out, you'll be able to see this. And if you go back to that VRAM viewer, you'll see the second face because I accidentally loaded it wrong. And the next step we will do is be animating this. So it'll be doing that. So, and while we will set sprite tile 0 to 1, you should start seeing a little pattern in this, but set 0 to 1, then put a semicolon on the end. Then we'll be using a new little thing here called delay. What this does is just delays however many milliseconds. So we're just going to put 20. It might be a little fast, but it'll do what it has to do. And then we set sprite tile back to 0, 0. And then we put another delay on there. And we'll see how that does. Let that compile. Ta-da, it's done. Yeah, that's way too fast. I'm gonna make that just a little bit slower. Oh, by the way, I've been saving it, which is the same as right here, Control S, which is what I've been pressing. Okay, so now we go back to our tutorial, compile it one more time. Oh, I never actually compiled it. I'm just going to make it go ahead and slower anyway. I'm just using this quickly right here. Later on I'll be showing you a new type of delay that works faster. That works faster or more efficiently. Yeah, you can always add a little. This will make it so you can see if there's any errors. Just pause at the end. There we go. Now we come down here and look. You should be able to see it now. Somewhat. I'm just gonna now since we have that, I'm gonna teach you how to move your sprite around. Okay. Now, actually, we're gonna go ahead and bring in that other. Might as well teach y'all early. Okay. It's gonna be kind of a peek at stuff, but we're just gonna steal it from here. I'm gonna edit this, and you'll put this before the main. You'll learn about that stuff later. But I'll teach you how this works in a different lesson. We're just gonna turn this into performant. Performant. Okay. Now that's done. We're putting a new if function in here. So if joypad and j down. Never mind that, that's just dogs barking. Then we'll just put a... Oh, by the way, these curly brackets just means the start of a program. So in this case, it's happening what happens after this if function. So down here, we're going to put down move sprite. And then you see which sprite, which is we're going to use 0, and how much x, and how much y. Which in this case, we want to move down, we're going to put in 2 on y. And then you're going to want to put in a type of delay function. In this case, performant delay. And we're just going to also set this to, let's say, 30. And then you can see how that works. If I got that set up right. So good. Sometimes I have to think longer. Oh, I know what I forgot. I need to put one more curly bracket right here. Okay, now you see how that compiled correctly. Now we'll test that out. I don't think I got something right. Let's see. I'm going to put that 20 because that's really slow. We're just going to put this at 10. Once you get a performant delay, you can't go back. Oh, I see what I did. Sorry, guys. It's not move sprite, it's scroll sprite. Which essentially has the same amount of functions, but moves it relative to where it's sitting instead of to that coordinate. Okay. Only reason it looks so bad right now is because I'm showing this to you and I'm running a camera. But let's try this. We're just going to cut animations for right now to make it a little faster. Okay, now you'll see he runs a little more smoothly. Okay. Now with that, you can just cut this right here, this first curly bracket right here. You can just copy and paste that 4 times, and then adjust that necessary for different directions. Here we go. Now you'll see where you have to adjust this right here. This J down is still right, so J left would be 0 right here, and -1 right here. J right would be essentially just this backwards, and the J up would be -1 on the Y. So let's try that out. You saw that worked, and you have officially created a way on how to program your first thing. Now you say this wasn't a perfect tutorial, but I'll give you a little bit of understanding on the subject. So, I was going to show you how this, what else this UBTD can do. Oh yeah, I'll just show you an example of how certain things should work, because this is included with the GBDK, so I don't mind showing y'all. You can see how that would work. For each of these things I'm driving, I'm pressing A and B. And it's pointed to skip to not get hit by these things, that one which is under me. You see, I get a game over. So, let's just show y'all this example of how to use backgrounds. Not sure if y'all can hear this in a second, but essentially what most of that looks like in code is it's pretty long, but the biggest part is right here where it says set DKG. You'll see how that's along with these fade out functions. That's repeated many times. And that is what we'll cover in our next tutorial. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll leave links to this in the description. Bye.